The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you by Rafter P Construction. Stick around to learn more about Rafter P's design build process and, of course, the biggest deer in the world. The whitetail deer is America's favorite big game animal, and whitetail deer farming is the fastest growing segment in the American agriculture industry. Our program's mission is to dive into the world of deer farming and discover why tens of thousands of Americans compete to create the biggest bucks in the world. And by the biggest bucks, we don't just mean the size of the antlers. The financial investment opportunities produced even on small parcels of rural land will blow you away. Join me as we discover how whitetail genetics, deer auctions, animal husbandry, and so much more drive the deer farming industry. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories.
I'm Brad Hassig. We are Prime Acres Whitetails in Woodville, Texas. We've been raising deer for 7 years.
All right, this is Prime Acres Whitetails. This is over in East Texas, and we're going to start out with the one-year-old pens. But before we start showing you the one-year-olds, I want to tell you we've been here twice before. Before, you only had one buck that you really wanted to showcase every year, and so we showcase those deer, and we'll show you the footage of those deer. And those deer have been industry-shaping deer, is the way I call them. I mean, people have bred with them all over the country, both north and south. There's offspring on the ground now. They've proven themselves, and the reason why is because of pedigree. But now it's different. You have not just one showcase buck, you've got multiple showcase bucks, and we're going to show those to you on today's show. But we're going to start out in one-year-olds. We're going to show you these one-year-olds, and in the one-year-old pens, I mean, there's two really big deer that I know who they are, but they're not one-year-olds. We'll show those to you in just a second. And as we talk about these deer, if you don't know what the North American Deer Registry is, we're going to be showing you certificates. We want to show you pedigrees. In the deer breeding industry, it is built upon pedigrees.
Oh, for sure.
Brad is a pedigree junkie. I mean, he is. I mean, you wind up, you spend hours a day on Nadar learning these pedigrees and learning which deer produce and learning where the values are in these deer. And so as you take a look at these deer, every one of these deer out in this one-year-old pen have got phenomenal pedigrees, and that's the reason why across the board they're all big deer. But these one-year-olds out here, they're awesome. I mean, there's some nice ones. Anybody in particular that you like?
I've got a few favorites here.
Who's that one right there? I mean, he is wide, he's beautiful.
He's definitely one of my favorites. He's actually horsepower on Money Talks AC/DC's mom.
111 is a phenomenal deer, and he's certainly a standout, but who else in here do you like?
Well, he's got a full brother here, right over there. That's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. Yep, I got him.
He's a full brother. That real big yearling right there is another favorite of mine. He's another horsepower son. Similar pedigree. Okay,
one thing I'm noticing, you have a lot more deer now than you did a couple of years ago. Wonder why?
Yeah, yeah, our farm's growing for sure.
The thing, it's growing because these deer multiply, and they multiply, and they multiply. And the truth of the matter is, a deer farmer, when you make money, it's when you sell deer, okay? Right. And a lot of times, well, you don't want to sell yearlings, do you?
No, I try not to. You know, I've got some folks that I sell a few to every year. They just won't take no for an answer, so.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, too, at Prime Acres, you're not going to see a lot of old deer out here either.
No.
And the reason why is because when they hit 3 years old or whatever, it's at least the bucks, they're out of here.
Yeah. We move 90% of ours at 2 years old.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've got more one-year-olds immediately, I can tell.
Yeah, okay? I think we've got about 90 this year.
Okay, well, let's talk about the bigger bucks that are in here.
These are my breeder bucks. I put them in with the yearlings every year.
Tell everybody why you do that.
Well, just to keep them safe, you know. Put them in with deer their age or older deer. Of course, they're going to compete for dominancy, you know, and putting them in here with the yearlings, it helps them and it helps the yearlings. You know, the yearlings know who's boss.
They establish a pecking order. Yeah. So who's that one right there?
That one right there is actually AC/DC.
Okay, and AC/DC is an industry-changing buck. People all over the country are bred with him, and the reason why is pedigree.
He's Unforgiven, Freeze Frame, Express Ranger Green 8.
Okay, and look at him. I mean, you see why people are bred with him. And he's got that look from last year to this year. I mean, he's beautiful. I mean, just big. He's got it all. Who's this other one?
That buck right there is Back in Black, actually. Yeah.
Another industry-changing deer right there. What's his pedigree?
His pedigree is Blackjack, Horsepower, Freeze Frame, G-Hammer, Tasha.
That's strong,
Yeah.
strong, strong. Okay, so how many yearling bucks do you have total this year?
I think we're at about 90.
Wow.
Yeah.
As far as the 2-year-olds, how many of those 2-year-olds you got?
Well, we did move some 2-year-olds out in February, you know, before they started growing their 2-year-old rags. So
Yep.
we're down to about 40 2-year-olds.
Okay.
So.
Well, what we'll wind up doing, we'll show you some 2-year-olds here in a minute. Before we get started, I want you to give a phone number for people if they want to contact you to come out here and take a farm tour.
Okay, yeah, you can reach me at 970-260-8656.
I want you to know that this is the first week of August right now. Fawning season is basically over. Deer farms do partnerships all over the place. There are deer farmers that have deer at other people's deer farms.
Sure.
And I happen to have one here.
Yes, you do.
And it's a special deer. It's a special deer to all of us. It's got a special name too.
Yeah.
So anyway, that deer is the only deer that hadn't had a fawn. And we just got word that my doe had a fawn out here. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by MVP Whitetails, Dr. Ray Favero's Whitetail Genetics, UVC Power Sports Tractors and Outdoors, Rafter P Construction. For more videos on deer farming, check out the Deer Farming channel on YouTube. So it just so happens that I have a deer here at Prime Acres. It's a doe, and they named her Keith, okay? And Keith has been kind of a problem. Keith hadn't had a fawn yet. Okay, and fawning season is over. But today is a special day because Keith just had a baby.
Now we're ready to go pick it up, and we'll bring it up here and get it worked.
All right. Hey, girl. Hello, little baby.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's check to see what it is.
It's a girl. Hello.
Little
Come
girl.
Good girl.
And when we pick them up, we usually try and keep their head tucked if we can, because they'll stay
You're
more
being
comfortable.
stubborn.
There we go.
Good girl.
Cover their face, keeps them calmer. We don't want anybody crying because then a mama comes running. Good job, mamas.
Good job, girls.
All right, first thing we're gonna do is a microchip, and we put our microchips right in this little pocket behind the ear. Some people do them differently. This is just where we choose to do it. So we just put it in this little pocket right here. And it's about like a grain of rice. So we see that plunger, that means it went in there, and you can even feel it in there, right in the little pocket. Next step we do is punch the ear for DNA. There's 2 ridges right here in the ear. I usually go about in the center of them. It's a guide, and then I usually do about the middle of the ear also. So about right there. It's real quick, it's very sharp, so they almost don't even feel it. And we put our ear tag in the same hole so we don't have to re-punch the ear. Up with this hole, punch it through.
Good baby. I know. Good girl.
Next
And that
step is
turn.
our tattoo. And that we just try to keep along the bottom of the ear. Make sure all parts of the tattoo are on the ear.
I know.
And then we put our ink on here. We'll rub it in. And then we weigh all of our babies. So she will go in this bag. I know, sweetie. She's a pretty big one. So we take off 2 ounces for the weight of the bag. So she's 7 pounds, 9 ounces.
Good girl.
That's a good sized baby. We'll double check her umbilical cord. Make sure everything looks good there. It looks pretty good.
I know.
And then the last thing she will get is her fawn paste. All right, little miss. Good job. All right.
All righty, good girl.
Now she's ready to go to mom.
Come on.
Our success is really due to the hard work of my team here at Prime Acres. We feel like our crew is second to none, some of the best in the industry. Erica Caldwell is our ranch manager. I can't express how fortunate I feel to have her on our team, as well as my son Connor and my sister Cindy. They're both real good help here. My wife, Rosie, heads up the bottle raising program here at Prime Acres. She really enjoys the fawns, and that's a real big benefit to the health of our program. These deer get top-notch care, day in and day out, 365 days a year. You know, we fresh feed every day. These pens get walked several times a day by 2 or 3 different people. So,
And the deer are gentle for the most part.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are gentle. So when you come to Prime Acres, more than likely, you're not just going to meet Brad, but you're going to see the entire Prime Acres team. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by Big Time Whitetails and Exotics, LE Fence, Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds, UVC Power Sports Tractors and Outdoors, and by New Dart. Deer and Wildlife Stories will be right back. Closed captioning is brought to you by Advanced Deer Genetics. All right, so we're at the 2-year-old pen now, but out of these 2-year-olds out here, okay, is there anybody that you're going to keep for breeding? I mean, there's some really nice 2-year-olds.
we are going to hold some of these over till 3. We sell most of our bucks at 2 years old, but there's some in here that just got a real flashy pedigree, and I like their looks.
You a politician?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because you didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to hold them over, but you're not going to breed them, right?
Yeah, well, I've got some in the next pen that I'm a little higher on. So
Okay, and we'll show you those in just a second. So all these are getting sold?
about 80% of them.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. The market's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's crazy good. The last couple years, it's done nothing but just get better.
Yeah, and it looks like the future is going to continue. And so these 80% of these 2-year-olds, okay, are going to be gone. Now, tell them where they're going and why.
Every year we sell all our 2-year-olds to a couple local ranches here that just introduce them to their large game ranches that will use them to improve their genetics. I
Right.
mean, that's, they buy several does from us every year, and you know, the majority of our bucks. I was fortunate enough to be out on one of them ranches last week taking some pictures of some deer that, you know, we've moved out there in the past, and just, I mean, they've, you know, got the right genetics and definitely bringing, you know, value to their ranch, whether it's a hunting operation or, you know, just value to the property itself.
Yeah, so these deer, the new home that they're going to go to is going to improve the value, period. And that's the thing about deer farming is that we have the great genetics. Out in the wild, I mean, the hunters have just shot the good genetics,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
face it. So what it amounts to is a hunter out in the wild is going to shoot the biggest deer he sees. And that's going to probably be the deer that's got the best genetics. And so you're going to have the genetics that are not as good breeding, and then that next year they're going to shoot poorer genetics, and pretty soon you got bad genetics. That's the reason why there's not very many good places out there in the wild that have got good genetics, but all these deer are good genetics. Just look at these 2-year-olds. So anybody that you're kind of excited about? Or
Oh yeah, there's 4 or 5 in here that I've really had my eye on all summer. And of course, them are going to be the ones that
you're going
are
to hold
gonna
over.
stay here.
Yeah. And so the deal is, in the past, when I've come out here, the only older deer there are nothing but the guys that you've used to breed.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and so these guys, you may decide to keep them to breed, but you're going to at least keep them to show, because what happens a lot of times is, as you're going on farm tours, so say you're a new deer breeder, you have to come to Prime Acres. Don't buy deer until you come see Brad. And the reason why I say that is you need to come see what his deer are doing, not just at 1 or 2 years of age, like these guys in his pen, but when he holds some of these guys over to 3, then you can really see what they're starting to do as they mature. So by the time this show airs, you call him up, say, hey, I want to come out and I want to do a farm tour. You need to schedule it for the end of July all the way through August, wouldn't you think?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to do that, how do they contact you again?
Just give me a call, 970-260-8656.
And so what we're going to do after the break, we're going to introduce you to some more 2-year-olds, but these are special 2-year-olds. One of them, they call him SI. SI stands for?
Simply Irresistible.
And he is. And the other one?
His name Wanted.
Wanted. And you'll see why he's wanted in just a second. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by Union Hill Whitetails, the North American Deer Registry, New Dart, and the North American Deer Farmers Association. For more videos on deer farming, check out the Deer Farming channel on YouTube. Now some great information on fencing from our friends at LE Fence.
Hi everybody, this is Shannon with LE Fence, and we're going to talk about a little fence repair today. As you can see, this is a Keith Warren fix, and we are going to do this the proper way. First thing we got to have is our tools that we're going to need, which are going to be your bolt cutter style pliers, crimping tool, crimps, chain walker, come along. So we're gonna cut and clean up the edges, get rid of unnecessary wire. We need to add a piece of wire as we're gonna pull this fence together. As long as we have an inch of wire overlapping the distance of the crimp, then that's gonna be sufficient for the repair. And you can do that with a big area. Somebody somewhere is gonna snag fence with a tractor, trailer, something of that sort. This is how you fix a fence. If you'd like to contact us at LE Fence, information is at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for watching.
Deer and Wildlife Stories, we'll be right back. All right, so we're fixing to blow your mind. These are 2-year-olds, but these aren't just any ordinary 2-year-olds. There's 2 of them in here that we're gonna show them to you right now. Let's start out with that one right there, and it's simply irresistible. Tell them about him.
We've had our eye on him all summer. We actually took some video and photos of him last year as a yearling. He was an exceptional yearling. We just was kind of holding off a year on him. We was promoting, Back in Black last year.
Yeah.
And yearlings are a pretty tough game anyway, so we've held him over till 2 and look at him now. I mean, to me, I think he's probably, if not the prettiest 2-year-old I've ever grown. He's right up there amongst them.
Oh my gosh, how wide do you think he is? He's got to be close to 30 anyway.
Yeah, I would say he's bumping it,
Yeah.
And for a deer to bump 30 inches and to
He's got the look.
come back in and have the look,
Yeah.
he's definitely a showcase deer in my opinion.
Taking a look at the difference between 1 and 2-year-old, that's pretty amazing. I mean, but you can tell why you had your eye on him.
Oh yeah.
But he has a great pedigree
That's
too.
that's what I was gonna say. He's got a pedigree second to none.
Tell him.
He is Blackjack, Triple Crown, Southern Express, Hardcore, Shadow on Blue 37.
Out of the park.
Yeah.
Out of the park. So do you have partners on Simply Irresistible?
Yes, we do. That is Black Hawk Whitetails in Louisiana, Billy Sage with the Bone Factory, High Roller Whitetails here in Texas, and Cold Springs Whitetails in Pennsylvania, and of course Blue Creek Whitetails here in Texas.
All right, so Simply Irresistible is that buck's name, and there is semen available on him.
Yes, actually we collected him as a yearling. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something they did in the old days.
Yeah.
Okay, they haven't done that recently, but
No,
I'm
we
glad to hear
didn't
that.
collect very many, but he was on our radar last year.
That's
you might
awesome.
say.
So you got semen now. Somebody
Yes.
wants, okay.
Yeah.
So if you want semen, call Brad. We'll give you his number in just a second. So this other buck in here is wanted by everybody. Okay, tell him his name.
Well, his name's Wanted.
Okay, so tell us about him.
He's another one that, we had our eye on last year. I love his pedigree. He's Southern Express, Triple X, Triple Crown on Miss Kitty, which of course is Gunslinger's womb sister.
And I know Tunall's got to love that.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, speaking of Tunall, Tunnel's a partner on that deer?
Yes,
You've got
sir.
some partners on these deer, right?
Yes, I do. Tejada Whitetails, G&K Whitetails, Billy Sage Bone Factory,
Yeah.
and also the Swamp Whitetails in Alabama and Blue Creek Whitetails here in Texas.
Okay. Hold everything. I'm going to tell y'all something. We were at the Texas Top 30 auction. We got video of when Blue Creek bought in partnership with Brad on the deer.
So, $175,000, thank you. Number 226, thank you. Sign up there. Move on to the next one.
Think about that, $175,000. Okay, there is money to be made in the deer industry, and the deer industry all over the country is good, but in Texas it is red hot right now. I mean, it's red hot. And do you have semen right now on Wanted?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. If you want more information on semen purchase, scheduling a farm trip, or just Prime Acres in general, you can contact Brad at what phone number?
970-260-8656.
And an email address?
It is brad@primeacres.net.
And he's got a great website.
Yes, I do. Check us out at primeacreswhitetails.com.
Come on out here. The best time to schedule is going to be, I would think, from the 3rd week of July all the way through August.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us out again. I really, really appreciate it. Thank y'all for watching. If you got any questions, you can get a hold of Brad. You got any other questions you need to ask me, shoot me an email. I'll get back with you. I want to tell you, if you love deer farming, we have the deer farming channel on YouTube. Make sure and go over there, and I guarantee you there's going to be videos that you enjoy, and hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all next time. Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build. Maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction. Rafter P Construction is the leading design build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch design build projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on, incorporating your input into every aspect of your project with their in-house design teams. The goal of Rafter P Construction is to be your builder for life. Rafter P Construction, they'll be with you every step of the way to build your dream project. All the while, keeping quality and customer satisfaction at the forefront.